Oh, yeah. No, damn, sorry. Hopefully no one was joined up yet, brother. We gonna let them pile in. We gonna let them pile in. Man, Jerry, you gotta out of this shit, dude. You got all my scrub ass, bro. You got this. Okay, no, that's cool. I remember that. Please me, baby. Come on and squeeze me, baby. Mic check, mic check. We'll be starting in just a few minutes, folks. Getting some things situated in the background, but I don't back down because I'm back down. Something, words I don't know. What you gonna do? Some other thing I don't know. All right. We good over there, buddy? How about camera 2? I did. I'd seen them. I had. Yeah, we got to add the socials here, brother. You got me looking bland. Órale. Arriba. Hola. Public. ¿Qué tal? Welcome to episode 56 of the Swift and SwiftUI Learnalong. I am your host, me. And for the uninitiated, let me go through my spiel. Let me get through it, brother. Just deal with it. If you heard it before, okay, I'll try to be quick about it. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me just get my pen here. My very impressive tool. I love this thing. Okay. Wait. Did it do it? There we go. Okay, so let me give you the lay of the land in terms of what you're looking at. So I am building an app for one. Building app, okay? And eventually I want it to make money, okay? That's the first thing. So all of this is a concerted effort to, this is not altruism, okay? This is capitalism at play, right? However, that doesn't mean that I don't love to teach. I love it so much that in fact, I am not going to expose you to subpar teaching like I think a lot of streams do. Not to hate, I'm not going to name no names. I'm just saying I think the overall quality of the education level, just because something's free, it doesn't mean it's good. I find I'm skeptical of things that are free for that very reason. But anyway, the fact of the matter is you are learning along with me. So that's really the main thing to identify here. I'm not teaching you, you're learning with me. You're a fly on the wall. There's no direct interaction, but I'm hoping that by virtue of doing things that I'm interested in, I can build a crowd of people who are also interested in those things. And there's a mutual benefit there of it keeps me honest, it keeps me accountable. It lets me flex my muscles a bit in terms of my teaching chops, because I do enjoy it to a degree. I like audibly teaching, even myself. I don't know how to describe it necessarily, but I'm doing something that I enjoy. That's the main point here. And I'm doing it for a specific reason of eventually building a product in Swift. Okay, so that's the lay of the land, for one. That's the general flavor here. Now, in terms of the content of the stream, if you haven't been following along, as I said, we're on episode 56. So up through, I'm going to say this point here. So this was the first portion of the stream. or the first piece of literature we knocked out. So this was an 818 page big nerd ranch guide, big BNRG. Great books, Big Nerd Ranch Guide. If you don't know what they are, it's well, they do a lot of stuff. They're a consulting firm. Just you can Google Big Nerd Ranch Guide or just Big Nerd Ranch and you'll find them. But they make a lot of programming books, amongst other things. I love their teaching style. That was the first thing that we stepped through, and that covered the entirety of the Swift programming language, 5.9. Okay, so, or I'm sorry, 5.7. But for the most part, there's very few things that have been changed since. So it was a great read. That's, like I said, 45 episodes. It's like 150 hours of stream. But if you want to get caught up, this is the YouTube channel that you can go watch all of those previously recorded streams on. So this Nico X narration, that's where you can go get caught up. You might be able to find them on, I know Twitch deletes them after a while, so I don't think they're going to be there. I hadn't elected to save them there yet. They might be on X as well if you want to check me out there if you're watching there, but just know that for certain, you can go to that YouTube channel, Nico X Narration, and go to the live section. You'll see all the previous streams. Now what we're doing, we've moved on to SwiftUI, working through this other piece of literature. It's not Big Nerd Ranch, but it's been a good book. I like it. I'm enjoying it. So we're learning the GUI framework, SwiftUI. So once we're done doing this, we're gonna jump to some API design. So I wanna use GraphQL just because I've used it in a past life. I didn't get to do much with it, but I was interested, and I like the whole notion of a schema versus the REST API, or a JSON API, the typical JSON API. I just like interacting the way GraphQL lets you interact with it better. I just think it's better. So we're going to use that. And then we're also going to do some SQL schema design, because the app itself will have a SQLite onboard storage, so we'll make a preliminary schema there. We won't spend too much time on that step, because that's going to be iterative. We're just going to keep coming back to it anyway, because I don't necessarily have I have some documentation, but it's not all written down. So maybe we'll work on that too. But either way, this will be a short aside, maybe like a 3-day thing. I don't know, something like that. And then after that point, we'll be in a position to then just start building. I mean, and it's going to be, look, brother, hey, you're looking at somebody that I would say I'm expert level in SQL. Wrote SQL for 10 years, did all kinds of shit with it. Okay, I love SQL. After that, I wrote Golang for about, I don't know, a year and a half. ETL jobs, DevOps type stuff, server-side apps, but nothing with the front-facing interface. Now, I am familiar with JavaScript and HTML, briefly, done some web page design, stuff like that, simple stuff. And SwiftUI is very close to the way that web pages are built, so that's been very nice in terms of the familiarity. But aside from that, I've never built a full-fledged app, so it's going to be a lot of learning on the fly. But of course, we're leaning on a lot of literature and experts to get us there. So once we get through this section here, we'll focus on live programming, and also we'll just alternate between the two, because it's not going to be continuous. I'm sure going to have to brainstorm, think about stuff, take a break every now and then. And I do want to learn C. I kind of started a course on it. I was really interested. It's very simple. It's very simple, especially compared to after having gone through that Swift book now. I mean, my God, extremely simple, but obviously one of those things that are very difficult to master. We would have never had all these other languages. But anyway, we're going to bounce between those two. So we'll learn some C. We'll learn how to use Swift with C more specifically. So I want to learn C, but also learn how to use Swift to use existing C libraries. So we won't spend much time learning C proper in terms of like trying to write a program in C. There's just no point. I mean, honestly, there's no point. But I I do want to learn the syntax just so we know how to read it thoroughly. And then also, like I said, making calls into C using Swift, because that's something that I just think a dev should know. Because, I mean, even SQL, you know, you have other ancillary languages and tools, technologies you can call into that are just good to have in your toolbox if X, Y, and Z are your primary language. So that's the lay of the land. That sounds good. Stick around. If not, get the hell out. Okay, so I'm just kidding. You can stay, but that is where's my holder, brother? Come on now. There it is. So that's it. And with that being said, now we can get it popping. Okay, so where we left off yesterday. Actually, let me make sure my preview comes back. We finally got through the challenge. Which was not all too difficult, but as I was saying yesterday, I really didn't, for whatever reason, I can't describe why necessarily, but when we were learning Swift, actually, I think it's more than likely because it's, like, the first book was more of the primitive stuff. So we were learning how, you know, arrays in Swift work and how protocols work and like how the language itself works. And we could always see and dig into it because, of course, Swift is open source. So even though it took quite a while, a really long while, I felt like everything was understood. SwiftUI, I think maybe on the one hand, I'm taking it a bit lightly just because I know it's pretty close to web pages. Like that's the one on the one hand. And then on the other hand, I know I have tools like this. Let me show you this. This thing is incredible, by the way. So I think this is also contributing to my kind of lackadaisical approach, only because like this tool here, on the left-hand side, you see all of, where's my arrow? So these are all the views in Swift, all the different views, which in SwiftUI, or sorry, in SwiftUI, these are all the SwiftUI views, not Swift. Okay, SwiftUI. These are all the views. Now, SwiftUI speaks of views, the word views, as web pages speak about elements. So that's really the equivalent. So a toolbar, a date picker, indicators, pop-ups, modals, stacks, frames, containers, those are all views to SwiftUI. So that's been kind of not a big deal, but something that I had to get used to because in a past life, views meant something very different. And if you've used any other frameworks, I'm not going to name names, but you'll know that views mean something different there too. So that's always fun, you know, dealing with everybody's pick the same word, but all have their own definition of things, but that's what it is. So maybe that's why I'm taking it lightly. I don't know. All I'm saying is that Swift came very naturally in the sense that I'm very confident in the language. It's very expressive. I love protocols. I love extensions, and I love enums. I don't know. I just love it. I had, you know, what I would call a programming boner the whole time, brother. I was rock hard. Not playing. That might be inappropriate, but in all seriousness, I am very excited about the language itself. I think it's fantastic. Okay, it's fantastic. SwiftUI has been a little bit more of a, I don't know. Let's just get started. I'm just saying, I'm really more, this is more cathartic, but I'm just talking to myself here. I got to slow down and make sure I understand this stuff because SwiftUI is different in that you can't just go dig in and go see the implementation and make sense of it and use, you know, AI to explain it to you, which has been a very effective way to learn. In this case, SwiftUI, it's not open source, so you just got to learn how it works. That's it, which is a little bit different of a style than I'm used to. So maybe that's why too. But yeah, all that being said, yesterday we were able to build this success view after we did have to cheat. I got some of it right. I got little pieces, but I was way off on the how to build out this VStack here. But effectively what we did was create a new view for whenever they complete, you know, an exercise, and we just set up our little. I have hiccups. Sorry. Our little inspirational message here. So far, let me. I think if I run this, it'll just launch the simulator. Let me just show you what we have in totality so far, and then we'll get started with chapter 5. God damn. Still thinking? Okay, here we go. Okay, so don't everybody try to place any pre-orders all at once. Okay, calm down. It's coming out soon. It's not ready yet. Okay, so we've added these page views, right? And this timer, obviously it started counting down from 30. Still a lot of bugs we haven't fixed. Still a lot of buttons that don't do anything. Like this is a button, but obviously just a empty button, no action yet. But we have our views lined out. We have this little welcome symbol for the splash page, the welcome page. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 for the different workouts, I guess. I don't know if I guess that would fluctuate by day, actually. I believe. Maybe. We'll see. Then we have these little EKG symbol things. So we have 5 of them. And the intent here, ultimately, is, you know, if let's say somebody goes balls to the wall, right? These will turn red based off of the level of exertion as calculated by some use of something that Apple has that we don't know yet. So we don't know what that implementation is yet. But the intent here is the app itself would track your output coming from the fitness app against the historical output from the fitness app for the same exercise, and comparatively it's going to give you a rating between 1 and 5 of effectively like, did you give max effort based on, you know, historical. So it's a neat idea. Obviously there could be issues there, but that's fine. I mean, whatever. It's a personal app. It's not like it's fucking you know, it's not our bank system, so it's fine. History button, so we'll be able to dig into history. We did build a history view. I don't know that we can even get there from here, but we did build that, so I'll show you that too. But anyhow, oh, this is a bug we need to fix, the 56. So it's only supposed to count down from 30 and then just stop. But right now it's going all the way down to 0, and then it starts counting back up. So all kinds of crazy shit going. This is an actual video, so it'll play, but I don't want to watch it. So, but we have these different views, and the whole idea is you follow along with the instructor for the allotted time. And okay, no, I can't get there. Yeah, let me show you the history view. So let me close that. Because the history view is a little different. So I just want to show that one, and then we can move on. Show me something. Yeah, here we go. So got the header, have our little button. This whole thing is wrapped in a Z stack we learned, which is a Z stack being, you can think of it as a pile of papers. It functions very similarly in the way that you can overlay things and arrange them differently, all in the same stack with different portions of it. It works in layers effectively, in the same way that windows work. You can drag windows over other windows. You know, the window's still there behind the window in front of it. You just can't see it, kind of a thing. That's how a Z-stack is. And so we just have this custom formatted date. So we learned how to do that. This is just an array showing the exercises done for that day. And same thing here. So that's about the extent of what we've done so far. So it's not highly functional yet, but now we're about to start. The nice thing is all we've done so far is really layout stuff. We have done some hard-coded data, just arrays that we wrote ourselves. But today we are doing this whole moving data between views, and I think we're saving to disk today, which is a big deal because it's a big deal for me because I think the first big thing that I really enjoyed that we did, I mean, this stuff is cool, don't get me wrong, but it's, I don't know, it's expected or it's not unique to me. I don't know, but it's just not a thing that I consider critical. Like I think for the most part, I'm not saying it's not good to learn the primitives. Obviously we're doing that, but I think for the most part, layout type of things, you can find good tools to help you do that. But for me, the thing that I really want to understand is this part in chapter 5. How am I getting data either from disk loaded into the app? You know, how often can I do it? How often should I do it? What are the protocols there, best practices? And then also my application is going to go over the wire to get data because it's going to have to access SQL backends. So we're going to be going over the wire, making calls either to the web server if they want to use like a cache. I haven't decided yet what is going to be reasonable to offer because these will be big, not huge data. It's not big data, but maybe, you know, I don't know, a gig at a time of data to work with in like a snapshot case. So we'll have to access their server, pull data over HTTP, bring it into the application itself, store that into SQLite on device, and then they have their underlying data set, and then from there create a snapshot, and then they can work with different sandbox environments to do all the manipulations of their data. It's effectively, just think of it as in a very simplistic manner. Just imagine at a enterprise company, a purchaser needs to do some kind of analysis on their physical inventory. And it's effectively going to serve that purpose in many different ways. Based on my experience over the 10 years I worked for a service company. We were a reseller of an ERP system, you know, things like SAP Business One or Microsoft Dynamics, NetSuite, Sage, things of this nature. And there's a lot of gaps there. Like for whatever reason, there's too many reasons there's not one reason that you can point at, but for many reasons, commercial software is just so far behind what we enjoy at the consumer level. I mean, they're working on old, dusty shit. I mean, it's criminal to some extent, but you know, there's a lot more red tape around all that stuff. But nonetheless, I am convinced that I'm in a position to take advantage of some of these things that aren't being addressed. You know, I got my whole Rolodex of old customers, and I'm, you know, keeping in touch. I'm telling them what I'm working on. So you never know. But I said this when the stream started, and I still believe it today. I think it would be super sick if eventually I could hire somebody that watched my stream and learned Swift together. Wouldn't that be poetic, brother? Or sister? Hey, don't cancel me. No, but I think that would be awesome. But eventually, yeah, that's the goal. I want my app in, 500 businesses. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not trying to be greedy, brother. I'm not trying to say it's going to solve all things, but that's about the base that because, you know, working for them for 10 years, you build up quite the Rolodex. And so my only goal is just to go sell it to those people because I know they need it. You know what I mean? And if it goes bigger than that, great. But there's a specific purpose in mind, so let's get to it. All right, chapter 5, moving data between views. In the previous chapter, you structured your app's data to be more efficient and less error-prone. In this chapter, you'll implement most of the functionality your users expect when navigating and using your app. Now, you'll need to manage your app's data so values flow smoothly through the views and subviews of your app. Managing your app's data. SwiftUI. I can't help but read this book as I hear them when audiobooks narrate them to you. You know, you got to stop, you got to pause, read the header, pause. You can't just run it through, man. You know, there's a respect here. Respect the literature, you know? All right, anyway, managing your app's data. So SwiftUI has two guiding principles for managing how data flows through your app. Data access equal dependency. Which is reading a piece of data in your views. Wait. Reading a piece of data in your view creates a dependency for that data in that view. Okay, two guiding principles for how data flows. Okay. Every view is a function of its data dependencies, its inputs or state. Every view is a function of its data dependencies. Its inputs or state. Okay. Yeah. Single source of truth. Every piece of data that a view reads has a source of truth, which is either owned by the view or external to the view. Regardless of where the source of truth lies, you should always have a single source of truth. Well, yeah, I mean, that makes good sense. Yeah. Tools for data flow. SwiftUI provides several tools to help you manage the flow of data in your app. Yeah, I'm very curious about this because I keep seeing actually, let's just ask Gemini real quick because it would be nice to get the lay of the land. Only because there's been a lot of stuff that has changed since the last book. So when we, like I was telling you guys, the first 45 episodes when we were learning Swift, that was 5.7. There's not been a ton. Like I went back and looked and I made sure because I didn't want to spend that kind of time going through an 800-page book if the knowledge wasn't going to be, or if it was going to be stale by the time we came out on the other side of it, it wouldn't have made sense, right? So don't worry. We didn't learn old shit, but, well, we did learn old shit, but it's not obsolete. How about that? Okay, so it's been out for a while, since 5.7, but it's still usable, but they've added mostly things around concurrency and a lot of server-side Swift stuff since. So we're getting Swift 6.0 this year, and a lot of the concurrency stuff that has been going on with 5.9 is now going to be the default. So, or sorry, 5.10. So in 5.10, it's still opt-in, the concurrency changes. In 6.0, it's going to be the defaults. It's just how it's going to be now. But anything that we've learned thus far really won't be impacted, which is the good thing. But I've seen core data and Swift data, I think. So I'm going to ask what the difference is because I don't necessarily understand that at all. What is the difference between core data and, I don't even know that it's called Swift data. Is it? Or wait. What is core data in relation to Swift? And is there any other? I don't even know what it is. Is it a database? Is it a library? Let's just ask this question first because they might mention it. Okay, it's a framework. Core data is a framework provided by Apple within the macOS and iOS operating systems. It allows developers to manage the model layer objects of their apps, providing an object graph and persistence framework to save structured data easily. Okay. Object-oriented core data works seamlessly with Swift's. Boo, we don't care about object-oriented persistence. Core data simplifies the process of saving and loading data from various storage types, SQLite databases by default. Oh, okay, great. So SQLite is the default, and that's what I want to use. Relationships, okay. Ooh, okay, yeah. I do want to go to this link, but is there any alternative? I thought there was another one. Maybe it's the old one to core data. Oh yeah, it is Swift data. Hot dog, okay. Yeah, see, so but this book is from 20 this book was from March 2023. It's probably in here. Let me see if it is though. I just want to be sure cuz how do I get the okay, here we go. Swift data. Okay, so chapter 15. So it's covered core data, and core data is covered much more. I really hesitate to. How different is core data from Swift data? Let me save this one too. Core data and Swift data are both Apple frameworks designed for data persistence and Swift apps, but they have significant differences in terms of design, features, and ease of use. Core data is Objective-C based with Swift see, that's I don't want to. I don't care to learn Objective-C or anything that is Objective-C based. I don't want to fuck around with any interop shit, this NS stuff. I just don't want to. The whole point. I'm getting all bent out of shape. I'm acting like someone's making me do it. I don't want to do it. We're not going to do it. We're going to find. God damn it. That really. Yeah, okay, let me take a step back here. It's not. I have to be reasonable here. I really don't want to pursue. This is the same reason, like, there was 2 or 3 episodes we kind of just basically wasted on those streams because we started a particular book, but it was taking us down the path of storyboards and UI kit, which is the predecessor to SwiftUI. So again, there's really no reason to dig in and learn that because we're talking about this is it's a greenfield app. I don't need to pull in all the old shit. And in my line of work, like in my day job, the job I'll be starting in July 1st, I'm that's basically SQL based. It's BI based, and so I don't need the skill is the problem, and nobody's gonna convince me otherwise. So why am I still even considering it? Probably mainly because I'm on the stream here. But okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna find. Well, first let's read through this list, but then we're gonna find. I actually think I have one, but we'll find a book that just looks directly at Swift data. I think the whole layout thing we've kind of gotten, but we can always do more examples like that. But ultimately, we just got to start building the thing. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so let's read through this first, just to get an idea of what they are, and then we will find a good Swift data instructional or something to teach us that. Okay. Core data and Swift data are, we read that. All right, so core data is Objective-C based. Swift data is purely Swift. Beautiful. And it's declarative, simpler syntax, fewer concepts. Oh man, I mean, deeply integrated with SwiftUI, requires additional boilerplate and manual synchronization. Brother. No, no, no. Similar to core data's ERM, but with, like, yeah, so it's not even a question. I mean, there's just no point, right? Like, yeah, there's no point. Okay, so, all right, Gemini, if you're so smart, brother, you know, what kind of books are out there? Can you suggest a recent book to teach or to learn Swift data? Swift Data Mastery in SwiftUI. The visual guide from Big Mountain Studio. Oh, that sounds cool. Apple Doc, sure. Oh, that's literally it. Wow. I did just get this book. I just saw it was $10. I'm like, you know what, brother? Why not? And I nabbed it because it was for iOS 17, which I've yet to find. This is the first book that I've found. Where the hell is the... Yeah, give me the... There we go. This thing. Let's see what's in here. Yeah, I'd yet to find one that was specifically for iOS 17, so it should be pretty up to date. Let's search for... Oh yeah, now we're cooking, baby. So it seems like this is straight money, brother. And let's see, core data, hopefully not in here at all. It is in here. But only 3 matches. Yeah, so let's dig into this one and see where it takes us, because I think likely this is a better option. What are you gonna do? You know, I wish I would have thought about that before. The other book was $60, but hey, I mean, we still learned something. And ultimately, even if I, you know, if I sell one copy of the app or whatever we call it, one subscription, I'll get my money back. So, and then some. Yeah, you know, one thing they don't tell you that's really difficult, really difficult, is pricing. Like pricing your services when you go freelance. It's very, you know, it's Wild West out here, brother. Anything goes. Okay, so let me see if app development, introduction to Swift. We might just do the whole thing, because if this is all, it depends on the... It depends on the types of... Oh, here we go, storage. I wonder if these are isolated. It looks like that's the first mention of Swift data. We'll just start from this. I see a lot of good good content that was not in the other book. So okay, this book covers basic and advanced topics required to develop professional apps, blah blah blah. The basic label represents topics you can ignore if you already know the basics of Swift and app development. Oh, that's handy. The medium label represents topics that are not required for every app. You may ignore the info presented in these sections until it is later applied in practical situations or needed in your own apps. Okay. The advanced label represents topics that are only needed in advanced apps or API development. Is not required, but may be helpful if you want to improve your understanding of how Apple technologies work. Okay. Examples. Every single topic covered in this book is explained with examples that you can try for yourself. Hell yeah, brother. We recommend that you open Xcode and try out. Oh, we definitely will. But you can also download the codes and projects from our website to save time. The examples in this book only apply the technologies you already know, so they don't always follow best practices. This is a big deal, and I wish more books took that approach. It's wildly helpful. I hadn't really been able to articulate why the Big Nerd, this is not Big Nerd Ranch, obviously, but hadn't been able to articulate why they're so good, but this is exactly why. That's exactly why. Okay, there are several, because a lot of books, let me just vent about this for a second. A lot of books, yeah, they'll teach you, they'll show you stuff, but they'll show you code, but when they speak about it after the fact, you know, when they explain what it does, almost always they revert back to talking about things in the large, things that you don't know yet. And so it's very hard to relate what you just did to what they're saying and then in a meaningful way commit it, you know, to your knowledge bank. Anyway, I digress. There are several programming patterns and best, okay, no, that's fine. Okay, so app development. Oh, that's a lot of words. Requirements. Do we already have, yeah, we got Xcode open. Probably have to make a new project. And we did all this stuff. Once the app is downloaded. Yep. Apple introduced a language called Objective-C to create apps for it. Oh, I didn't realize. I thought they just adopted Objective-C. I didn't realize Apple also created Objective-C. Compiler. We're going to skip this stuff because we've covered it before. Oh, this is cool, though. The LLVM dragon. That's not canon, really. All right. Okay. Automatically run playground. We've covered this. They're just showing us what the playground looks like. Actually, let me close this and just open a playground. That'll be a good idea. Close project. And new playground. Oh shit. iOS. Next. SwiftUI Masterminds. iOS 17. Hot dog. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Variables we learned thoroughly. Memory, data types we learned. Yeah. All this stuff you can find on the early episodes of the previously recorded streams. So this is not something we necessarily need to go back over. Constants. Yep. Swift data types. What is this? Besides primitive data types, Swift defines additional data types to allow us to work not only with numbers, but also more complex values such as logical values, true or false, characters, or text. Characters. Because of their nature, computers cannot store decimal numbers, characters, or text. As we have seen in the previous section, the computer memory is only capable of storing ones and zeros, switches on and off, but they can work with more complex values using tables that contain the information necessary to represent those values, numbers, letters, symbols. what the system stores in memory is not the character, but the value corresponding to the index of the character on the table. For example, if we use the letter A, the value stored in memory will be the decimal number 65 in its binary representation. Because that stuff is interesting, but we don't need to go back over it right now. We can use Unicode, so you can use emojis as your variable names. One of the coolest features of Swift, obviously. If I can... So who hasn't wanted a variable to equal the little poop? Right? Come on. Print greeting. Did it run? Oh, Command R is for Xcode. Command Shift Enter to run it. Come on, don't let me down. Takes a while to wake up. Drum roll. Yay. Greeting is just a little poop. Isn't that fun? I think that's a lot of fun. I think you can make some pretty, reason that these are obviously very specific things, you know. Maybe if you had like a cooking app or something, you could very well use some of these in a very serious manner, you know. Why not? Concatenating strings, we did this. Okay, let's go see where we can start. We did these here, optionals. Maybe I should look just in case, but this is just string interpolation, the escape character with the variable. I'll just put these examples here, but what's all that? Yeah. Oh wait, I need that one. Let age equal 44. Let my text. Yeah, so that's okay. So there's your string interpolation right there. Nice and easy. Okay, so then what else? Sometimes we need to insert special characters into the string like backslashes or quotes. 2 ways to accomplish this. Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that. Okay, I need this one. Zoom out a second, bro. You're way too... Okay. Multiple lines. So this one we're aware of. We just use this one. So triple quotes. Has to be on its own line. But otherwise, you can just put your text, write it normally inside of it. You can even wrap Markdown, which is super sick. Ooh, and it'll even carry over your indentation, so you can literally just format it in that block, which is going to be wildly useful for my purposes. Optionals, yep. Force unwrap with the exclamation point. We covered that too. I remember that. Tuples. I remember them, but I'm going to reread this because I kind of, at some point, I got twisted up between tuples and dictionaries, but now I know the difference in the sense that a dictionary would have, you would have keys for your values. So it wouldn't just be John and Doe. It would be, you know, like name. I guess I can use my handy. Yeah, it'd be like name, John, last name, Doe, dictionary. Versus a tuple is just the two string. So it can be anything. But the thing that I was kind of wonked out about is technically when you write a function, that argument, like when you write a function, how do I make it bigger? I guess you can't. You gotta do it up here. It stinks. Font for text tool. Okay, how big is that? That's better. Okay. I don't want to confuse myself. Maybe I'll leave that one alone, but let's just, yeah, I'm going to read this. A tuple is a variable that contains a group of one or more values of equal or different data types. It is useful when we need to store values that are somehow related to each other. Tuples are declared with their values and data types in parentheses and separated by comma. Tuples are declared with their values and data types. Okay, but you don't have to, right? You don't have to do that. If I just wanted to do, hold on, let me shrink this. Pushed off the example there. Okay, var by tuple. And so the type annotation is this. Can I do, I think you can do that. It's equal to, oops. So string here and then another array. Fold. Show. And then close that. No. Oh yeah, that's it. And then print. Or we don't have to print. In the playground, you don't have to print necessarily. So let's see if, yeah, you can do that. That's cool. Okay, so you can literally mix any data type. So a string in the first position and then an array of strings in the second position. Okay. Yeah, the thing that, how do I get rid of that? There we go. Or let's keep going. Okay, in this example, the myName variable is a tuple that contains two string values. The values of this tuple are of the same type, but we can use any combination of values we want. I suppose my main question that I still don't get, because I know at one point when we were going through the Big Nerd Ranch guide, we came across this, well, okay, so print is a global function. Here's a good example. Print, the print function that everybody knows about. Ubiquitous across most languages, some version of it, right? The thing that kind of really tripped me out is this is a tuple itself too. So like the thing that contains the arguments in functions are they themselves tuples, I think, but let me ask that. Are oh shit, I meant to check this book out. We will do that, but let's ask this first. Because I could be just, my recollection could be, you know, straight dookie, so I don't know. So we'll see, but can you explain? Or is the found in Swift function signatures a tuple unto itself, and how can that relationship be thought of? Is a tuple a lower primitive than a Swift function? I guess that's the thing, because I always imagined them being the same. Like a function just is a thing, and a tuple just is. But if a function needs a tuple to be a function, is there some kind of hierarchy, and does it even matter? I don't know. Yes, the parentheses in Swift function signatures is a tuple. Okay, so it is a tuple, specifically an empty tuple. Here's how you can think about the relationship. Tuples as data structures. Tuples are a way to group multiple values together. These values can be of different types. An empty tuple simply means a tuple with no values. Functions and return. Every function in Swift has a return type. When a function doesn't explicitly return anything, oh my gosh, excuse me. That damn Smoothie King gave me hiccups. The empty tuple, wait. It implicitly returns an empty tuple. This signifies the absence of a meaningful return value. And, oh, the void type we did learn about, but it's just an alias for an empty tuple. Okay. So when you see void in a function signature, it means the function returns nothing. Okay. Tuples versus functions in the context of primitives. Tuples are indeed a more fundamental or lower level construct than functions in Swift. Okay. Tuples are basic data structures used to group values. They're similar to structs, but are lighter weight and don't require a formal definition. Functions are more complex entities. They encapsulate a block of code that performs a specific task. While they often operate on and return data, which might be tuples, they have additional properties like parameters, return types, and the ability to be called and executed. Okay, so then what? Okay, so outside of, I think what I really, I mean, I can go back and forth with this thing about bullshit all day, but I think the thing I really want to know that is helpful for writing apps is the relationship between the two. But also, well, but wait, I can't have a tuple with 3, right? So it's always a set of 2, maybe. I don't know if that's true, but, and I don't think I have to give it it can infer the type, but if I do J, A, hey, is that, I can do that too? Oh, okay, so they're hot dog. All right, well then now I really want to know. Okay, yeah, so how How should the relationship between the values in a tuple be thought of? The best use case versus when you should use something more like a dictionary or array. Which with the dictionary makes it like it I mean, I wanted to reaffirm things, but we learned, and obviously the fact that dictionaries have keys, so it would make sense that if you, like maybe tuples on the ingress when you're receiving data and you just need to sort through things, so you need a vehicle to store them in. Especially if on the ingress, it's multiple data types and you need to go do something with them. Since tuples can have multiple data types. But they're not indexed. But arrays are, but can only have one data type. So maybe you ingest data, gather all the types, do something with it, break them out into arrays and or dictionaries, maybe. I don't know. We're finna find out. Okay, so between a dictionary and array, and also are tuples index. Hopefully not, because that'll really confuse me, but the relationship between values in a tuple is best understood as a fixed, ordered collection of heterogeneous elements. This means fixed. You cannot add or remove elements from a tuple once it's created. Ordered. The order of elements in a tuple is significant and does not change. Okay, so that's a lot like kind of like a more akin to like a record in a database, because those oftentimes, I mean, you can read them however you want on the output, but in the table itself, from left to right, that order is not going to change unless you run some kind of alter statement on your table. But normally the expectation is that the order of the elements is not going to change, which is why it's such a headache to run changes like that on your tables. Please stop making changes in the middle of your tables, you bastard. Okay, heterogeneous. The elements in a tuple can be different, can be of different data types, right? Yes. Best use case, returning multiple values from a function. Okay, yeah, we're talking outside the function, but I understand its applicability there. Representing a single composite value, tuples can represent a single value that has multiple parts, such as coordinates, x, y. Okay. Okay. This spurns another question. Fixed size collection. If you have a small fixed number of elements of different types that always go together, a tuple is a convenient way to group them. If you have a small fixed number of elements of different types that always go to... Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was describing on the ingress. Okay. When to use dictionaries, arrays, dynamic size. We need a collection that can grow or shrink. Use an array. Oh, so that's a good point. That would really decide many things, so that makes sense. Key value pairs. We need to associate values with keys. Use a dictionary. When you have a collection of elements of the same type, an array is usually a better choice. Indexing tuples. Yes, tuples. Oh, they are indexed. Huh. While tuples are indexed, they are not meant to be used as general purpose collections like arrays. Okay, their strength lies in representing fixed collections of heterogeneous elements with a specific meaning or purpose. Okay, so would it be fair to say then, in the context of an application that would ingest data over HTTP and then copy said data into local SQLite, and then subsequently allow for multiple instances, multiple sandbox instances locally of the copied data sets that tuples would be useful for the ingress to capture multiple data types that would represent metadata and the SQL records themselves. Then what would I, after I save it, for after the fact, or after the data was ingested and saved on or local storage, arrays or dictionaries would be a use case for the app's runtime storage of these values. That assessment is largely accurate with some nuances to consider. All right, sweet. Tell me them. Ingress, HTTP data ingestion. Tuples are well suited for capturing multiple data types received over HTTP. You might have a tuple like status code type int, headers, there's a string array, and then data type data. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This neatly encapsulates the HTTP status code, headers, and the raw data payload. Yeah, tuples provide a structured way to pass this info around within your code for further processing. Local storage, SQLite. While you could technically store tuples, while you could technically store tuples in SQLite, it is not the most efficient or idiomatic approach. Weird, what the hell? Yeah, why would you do that? SQLite works best with fundamental data types. You would typically break down the tuple into its constituent parts and store them in separate columns of a table. Yeah, for sure, brother. I agree with that. Sandbox instances, arrays, or dictionaries are excellent for managing sandbox data sets within your app. Beautiful. Good old big nerd ranch. I love that, though. I love that we went through that, and I remember, not even the remembering part. I understand it. I feel like I understand it. You know what I mean? It's fantastic. Arrays, ideal if you need to maintain the order of records or perform operations based on the index, and we will, absolutely. Yeah, sorting and filtering would be the crux of the whole app. Really. Well, that's not true. Analysis really will be, but that's part of it. The visual representation, at least. Dictionary is preferable if you need to quickly look up records by a unique key. Oh, okay, so in ID. So if we don't necessarily, like if we wanted to quickly search an index of customers, or even like preferences, settings that the user had. That's probably would be good for a dictionary. So it can quickly go look up whatever setting and maybe toggle the two, something like that, a macro, something like that. Okay, so that makes sense. The choice between arrays and dictionaries often depends on these specific access patterns. Okay. Additional consideration, data transform. After ingesting the data, you might need to transform or normalize it before storing it in SQLite or using it. Correct. Yeah. For more complex data structures or relationships, consider defining custom structs or classes. Absolutely, we would. Yeah. We have a whole. I need to get these boards flipped over, but I like this app a lot. I'm going to say it again. It has the best web clipper on the market, hands down. But man, I just really want a visual board app that I can trust to. I shouldn't even say that. They've not. Anyway, all of these things are, I need to step through and curate, but these are all of the examples and just different things that we kind of worked out with the help of Gemini to just understand the concepts from the book. These were all really helpful. Just like this to me was very, very helpful. So at some point I'm going to move those. Maybe either way, I'm going to share a link so we can all kind of come together as one over these examples. But yeah, that is on my to-do list. But yeah, okay, so this makes a lot of sense now. I think I still have Replit. Replit is pretty cool. I mean, I became a little disenchanted with it just because I guess that was more my fault to some extent. It's a good service. They've come under fire a bit for a few things, but all in all, I mean, if you don't know what it is, it's an online code editing and collaboration and hosting now platform. But what's really cool about it, I mean, you'll see it once we get there, but what makes it really cool is also kind of what drags it down. And it's the fact that, like, here I can write Swift code, right? It uses NixOS. If you don't know what NixOS is, you can look it up. But it's a really neat take on Linux distros and how we solve the issue of environments and the different dependencies. Like, like if you've ever written Python or JavaScript, you know how fucking annoying it is that, like, oh, hey, brother, this library needs a common JS and this is ES6 and you're trying to do import and it doesn't work with that. You got to format it like this because this is from that library and this fucking all that shit. It's a way to, in a cleaner fashion and through code, because it also has a language in Nix. Yeah, anyway, it's neat. But you can see, like, this kind of looks like most config files, right? But that's what it looks like, although it gets a lot more complicated. But in terms of the website itself, you can come here. It has GitHub integration. It has almost all. I can't say all, but it seemingly has most languages that you could even think, even new ones like Nim or Odin or, lesser known ones. But you can come here and just fire up a quick little, what they call a replit, and then you get this nice code editor and whatnot. But I will say what is neat about, where did my, might be that one. It does have a really good editor. So if you need like a web only tool and you're not building big apps, I think it's great if you're just learning. You get the full, really the only annoying thing that I didn't like that you can't really do, that you can do easily, on local storage, is just if you're working with a lot of files, you can't reference a local file. You got to upload it. And that's really where it kind of drags. But there's a lot of good points. So I think for like presentation style like this, if you're just learning, or for quick hit examples, or even for hosting like static HTML pages, stuff like that, it's great. Oh, and by the way, just interesting fact, it's one of the few large language models out there that has no affiliation. It's its own thing. It's called Ghostwriter, is their AI. And it's probably the only one that I can honestly say is a better coder, even though that's not saying much, than ChatGPT. It's pretty damn good. So let me ask it. So what should we tell it to write? Can you generate a function in Swift that will ingest a file, a text file, parse the data, and then generate SQL insert statements from said data via ODBC connection. But what I like about it is the completeness that it gives you. So it tells you what it's doing, how it's thinking about doing the thing, like the quote unquote thought process, and then give you some goddamn code. Now, trust me, it's almost never good to, like, I always found that it really should only be used for learning. If you choose to push code, I'm talking about for work, that the AI gives you, just be warned. Like you're really, it's very error prone. I'm not saying it's not a good tool. It's awesome for learning, as we've seen. But it's so much, you know, think about the amount of thought that would have to go into something like this. And so if you're not going over it with a fine-tooth comb, I just think you're asking for trouble. That's all I'll say. But aside from that, no, it's very helpful. So yeah, that's just my little plug for Replit. Other than that, I don't really give a shit about it. But yeah, that's what that is. It's a nice tool. I think a lot of people could get good use from it. Okay, so now that we understand that, I just wanted to save that here. Actually, let me see where's my, when is this expiring? Your plan will be November. God damn. Yeah, I thought I paid for a year, I think. Oh, let me just save it then, because we'll still get some mileage out of that. Yeah, you never know. All right, so now let's look at this book, getting all the way back to Swift data now that we answered those questions. Swift Data Mastery in SwiftUI. $97, brother? Cut through the confusion and learn how to use Swift Data and SwiftUI the easy way with pictures. Oh, okay, well, you didn't say that. You should have said that first. This book will become your lifelong visual reference guide. Really? No, I'm definitely buying this. Maybe. This book just removed the 3 biggest barriers to learning and using Swift Data in SwiftUI. Complexity, integration, lack of visuals. Text-based tutorials may lack visuals. Okay. I love that picture. Swift Data, matter of fact, Spawn Dooley stole it, baby. Fight me. Swift Data Mastery and SwiftUI. Cut through the confusion and learn how to use. Oh, I read that. Who's it for? Beginning devs. Hey, that's us. SwiftUI devs, also us. Experienced devs. Nope. Entrepreneurs. That's me. RAM, almost full. Yeah, quit the simulator. I thought I quit it already. Go ahead then. Yeah, by the way, don't buy the 16 gig MacBook Pro. Just don't. I fell for the bullshit, and I'm here to warn you about it. Hey, man, Apple Silicon, 16 gigs RAM is like having 32 on a Windows machine. No, it's not. No, it's not. Having 16 gigs RAM on a MacBook Pro This is the M3 or M2 Pro Max chip. And after, well, basically since this stream started, so I think I've put in enough time to say that 16 gigs RAM on Apple Silicon is like 16 gigs of RAM. So don't make the mistake I did. Spend the money, get 32 at least. At least. Okay, so Swift data, for example, uh, 500 in the largest Swift data book for SwiftUI in the world. And then I think it's the only one too. So we don't have a lot of choices here, but yeah, what are these? So Swift data concepts, 4 main concepts. We'll have an example, mock data. How can you use mock data? Beautiful. Yeah, because I got this, let me go find it. Developer apps. I bought this tool for Swift data. SwiftUI. No. Oh, there it is. Core. Oh, but that's core data. Oh, they tricked me, brother. I thought. Let me check if there is one. Not that we need it, but I just want to make sure I didn't. Swift data. Isn't that cool though? This is the one that I bought. I didn't realize if I had known the difference at that time, I wouldn't have done that. But it lets you view all the stuff in memory, images, videos, all your variables, like super sick. So I'd be surprised if they didn't add maybe Swift data to the support of it, but fix first column. Core data lets you easily. That's really good reviews though, and developers are not very nice. You know, we're the most bitch ass reviewers ever. I mean, I say that affectionately. Obviously, I'm putting myself in that category. But you know, when we don't like something, we'll take the time to write a novel about why. Set up a new. This thing is crazy. I forget how much it was though. I know it was expensive, but yeah, I mean, eventually we'll look at that too because it has a lot more productivity features than just working with the core data. Yeah, but anyway, that's not important. Okay, so let's go back to. Just want to make sure this is going to address everything. It looks like it is. Mock data, model, start using models. This, what do they call these? Decorators, query. How can you not only get data, but also sort, filter, and animate with a query? Man, come on, dude. That's way too cool. Model container. What are the different ways to set up your Swift data settings with a model container? Undo, redo. Oh, sick. Relationships. How can you use relationships to connect data? This is another big one. So let me bookmark this. Swift. You know, one of these streams, I'm just gonna have to go through all the tools that I use because there's a lot of good tools that need some shine for sure. Raindrop being another one of those. Which is crazy. You have to do some digging, which I did. I mean, I definitely have way too many tools, but I'll just do like my top tools that I discovered because most of them are, well, they're not necessarily free. They're way more affordable and what I think are better options to a lot of the more mainstream stuff out there. Let's see, concurrency, URL session. How do you populate? Oh, we get a bonus. All the examples used in the book. All SwiftUI recipe app, $97 value. Wait, we get all this stuff with just for 97 bucks? Try the book out risk free. 30-day money back guarantee. Now you're just being cocky, brother. Come on. How do I get a copy of my invoice? What if I need? All right, you sold me on it, brother. Come on now. All right, and full name. Hold on, let me just give you 1 second. I'm still here. I didn't leave you, okay? I know everything's gone dark, but I'm still here. I don't want y'all to see freaking try to jack my stuff, brother. Think I trust you just because you're here? All right, so let's do the create account. Yeah. Got it. And 808-612-305-82 or phone number 257-25-23. Don't be trying to call me either. That's not my whole number. Pay. All right. Welcome back. Now we wait. SwiftUI Accelerator Snippets Vault and Mini Course. Quickly produce SwiftUI views with my Xcode Snippets library. These snippets will help you create views faster without having to remember all the SwiftUI modifiers. Oh, say less, brother. For $5? Let me support the movement. Okay, hold on. I gotta put y'all back on the same payment method. Yes, indeed. I love this kind of stuff. Snippets, those are... Hey, what's going on? Oh, that's fine. And you're texting me. Okay, yes. Text or messages. Wait, what? Oh, I'm still here. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Oh, I put... God, I'm a dummy. All right. Fat fingered the... God dang it. Okay, hold on. 1 minute, folks. Be right back with you. Email. Where is the thing? Okay, there we go. Boom. Combine. So there's the core data one, Swift. Trying to get it to change my phone number. It's taking a little bit. Ooh, there's an animation one. This has some really good collections here. Okay, this. Well, that bites. I think I just whiffed on my chance to get that. Oh well, he'll sell it to me. I just send him an email. How about that? Okay, so then if we go, I can always grab that later. All right, so now let's take a look-see. I guess I ought to save this too. Learning path, and then, okay, so this is the actual. And the Xcode project. And I want, yeah, it's a big ass book. 220 meg. iCloud. Mastermind. Paste. SwiftUI. We'll just take a look, see. And you go to, where is it? There we go. Yeah, this might work out better. Okay, so now Let's take a look at what's in here. I'm such a sucker. I want all this stuff. Give me all the books. It just makes it so much easier to learn though. Bonuses. Don't forget this book comes with bonus content available on your account's download page. Oh, really? Yeah, okay. Where's all that at? Oh, right there. If you're a content creator, please feel free to use these projects as inspiration to teach Swift data. It's meant to be, brother. That's awesome. Okay, great. Now I don't have to like kind of draw, skirt the line between fair use, Honestly, I always figured I would have to stop doing it the way that I'm doing it eventually if I ever get to the point where I become monetized. But I mean, that's a far ways off, so I'm not going to worry about it. But it's great that, so, I did bookmark this, right? But let me put it at the front of the page now, because if they're cool with that, that's way better for me. And I don't have to worry about, sorry, damn hiccups. I don't have to worry about backlash. That's awesome. Okay, so then I will keep these. I only ask that you mention where you got it from. Absolutely. BigMountainStudio.com. Everybody go there. All three are right now. But it's going to be more than that. All right, so I'm going to download these. I won't do that yet. Yes, I will. I'm going to do it right now. And then we'll just do an overview of the book, kind of look at the content, and then we'll wrap it up. Because sorry, today's been all over the place, but I can't bring myself. It's not even altruism. It's just I don't want to waste my time learning core data, Objective-C based something. And when this is out, you know what I mean? There's just no point to me. So sorry if anybody was excited about core data, but maybe someday. Very unlikely, but maybe. Okay, so we got all that. We got my projects. Let's look at the book, and then we can wrap it up. I'm just starting my next stream anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but... Oh, this is the, I don't need this one. Okay, so let's see. So the bonuses, yeah. Acknowledgements. Quick links, book conventions. Oh, so this is effectively the table of contents. Oh, and this is effectively what we read through, yeah. But a better view of it. How can you start using Swift data in just 4 steps and under 10 minutes? Actually, let's do we'll do the first example and then we'll keep going. But yeah, look at this. This is going to be sweet. So this we kind of were exposed to, although it'll be cool to see it in Swift data. Models will be integral. Not all too exciting, but we'll need to know it. This will be fun, especially animate with a query. What does that mean exactly? Sounds awesome. Model container. I don't know what that is. Model context. How can you use the model context to insert, update, and delete data? I'm all over that. Required to prevent duplicated data, create custom types. Cool. Undo, redo for the user. Awesome. There's nothing worse than thinking that you have access to stuff you're used to. You can, well, like on the iPad, like 2 fingers to right click, do an undo on a lot of art apps, like editing apps. But sometimes it's just not there, and that's it's a sad panda moment. Using observable objects. This is something we covered in Big Nerd, and It's effectively Swift's answer to reactive programming. If you ever use something like a jQuery with the or a Svelte, the $ bindings. It's really cool, really simple. Measuring performance, sweet. Definitely need that. URL session, absolutely need that. Everything's going to be over the wire. CloudKit, your users might install your app on multiple devices. So how can you sync their data across devices? Beautiful. Integrations with photo, maps, charts, Swift data. Man, I am getting another programming boner right now. Okay, I created a code editor color theme for high contrast light mode. This is the theme I use for what? For Xcode. For yeah, I might. I like Monokai though. That's one of the few things I really do enjoy about. I mean, look at that's beautiful. It looks great on the stream too. So where was I? Oh yeah, here. Okay, icon usage. Version book supports embedded videos. The PDF does not. Okay, well, good thing we're in the EPUB. That's cool, man. This is high quality-ish. I think you'll learn in the end. You will be able to think with Swift data concepts. There are 4 main components. Wait, is this just, yeah, we're just starting. Okay, we'll go through this and that first example, why not? There are 4 main components used to work with Swift data and SwiftUI. These are not, ooh, sorry, I popped my back. These are not the real names, just a general overview. There are 4 main components used to work with Swift data and SwiftUI. These are not the real names, just a general overview. The data model, how your data is described. The container contains the tools you need to prepare, persist, and handle the data. The context, the place where data can be fetched, changed, updated, deleted, or undo those changes. Okay. And the view, the place that requests data and enables users to work with the data. All right. Fucking macOS is so extra, brother, ever since Big Sur, whenever I don't know when they did it, but so many funky things happen now because of every update. They reset all the third-party apps, permissions. Fucking, it's annoying as hell. Anyway, the model. Let me zoom out a little. I cannot zoom out. No font sizing. I guess they want you to experience it the way they want you to experience it. Yeah. The first part of the flow is the model. A model means a representation. So when talking about data, a model represents the data you want to store and work with. At the end of this section, you will know what a model is and what it is not. Okay, we just looked at this. Swift data concepts. I'm going to get rid of this because I think we fairly well get the point by now. If it'll let me. How about this? I'll just quit there. Okay, Swift data concepts, models. What are we looking at here? This defines a model, but there is no actual data in it. Okay. Right, no stored properties. Okay, we've seen this before, nothing crazy. You've probably created a struct or a class to hold data. These classes and structs are called data models. Data models are populated with values and used in some ways. Swift data models have to be classes. More on this later. Oh no. Oh, that's, well, okay. I think it's okay because that it does make sense that they would use it. Otherwise, you're making copies everywhere, and that could get very slow, very fast. Swift data needs to know how to store a person object. You need to define your data models in a special way before working with them in Swift data. Okay. So to this point, we know they have to be classes. And there is some shape that they're expected to be in. Data models or data objects. Let's clear up the difference between data model and a data object. Yeah, the object is in memory. Model. The model is the definition of how data will be structured or organized. It defines property names and types. For example, this is a type person with two constants. A name is a string and a constant age of type integer. Data object. The object is an instance of the model that is populated with data. Is an instance, as in memory. For example, the new person variable here is a data object. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they beat this into our head, but yeah, eventually I got used to looking at this. Like, what in the world? Yeah, this kept throwing me off. But yeah, so that just initializes an instance of the type. So currently just definition over here on the left, and then when you actually use it for something, you create an instance and give it a bucket to live in memory. Warning, Swift data cannot use the person class as it is defined here. You will have to add one more thing to it first. See next page. And we know that because more than likely, I assume there's a protocol, right? So we know how those work at this point, but somewhere in the implementation, there's a class something, and then some view. We've seen that before, but view in this case being a protocol, some being the keyword that makes it an opaque type. So it's just saying this can be any concrete type that conforms to the view protocol. But that's prevalent everywhere, and it's nice. I like that a lot about Swift in general. The whole protocol system in general works very well with my brain type. Got it. Got that, brother. Define your data models. You define your data model by using a special Swift macro called @model. Okay. Import Swift data @model. Kind of looks like TypeScript in there. And then right over your, just directly over the class. And they were saying we had to add something. So the thing that we added was this initializer, which is, we know that the compiler will provide a member-wise, what they call the member-wise initializer, which just means that implicitly, if you don't define, where's my, I keep forgetting about my pen, man. Gotta use my pen. Oops. Give me a... No, damn it. Ugh. Technical difficulties. Okay. So turn it on, right click. There we go. Pen. Yeah. So if this wasn't here, then it would just straight take the, like it would be this instead. I didn't think this through. So init Oh God. Now what I need, people, maybe we'll build this app. I need it to automatically also make my handwriting beautiful. Or I got to get better at writing on the screen. But so the member wise, so MW, M wise, if we didn't define it ourselves, it creates an initializer. So an initializer is just a function. And it would just be an argument for each property. So, name, whatever the type is, and then age, whatever the type is. So it just assumes that you want to make an initializer to give each property, in this case, just these two, a value, because you can't initialize it with nil. That's not allowed. So it makes sense as a default implementation. But in this case, looks like we want to give it this special way to identify itself using the self declaration, because the compiler won't just know that, it won't just do that for you. So I assume that's why we have to do that. But in any case, just remember that the default behavior is that Swift's compiler will implicitly generate an initializer for you. So if you have a specific implementation you want to use, you have to define it inside of your as a nested type, which in this case, this one is for person. Okay, this helps Swift data understand how you want your data structured. Later in this book, you will learn more options to specify your Swift data models. What are Swift macros? Swift macros allow developers to save time when coding. In the field of computing, the word macro means a single instruction that expands automatically set of instructions to perform a particular task. In Swift, you can type in simple keywords like @model or #preview. Oh, we saw that one. And these macros, everyone calls it macros, but seemingly Xcode does not. So that's odd, but I guess it can be thought of that way. And these macros will then transform the code into more code before it gets compiled. A macro is kind of like a command that you can write, and Swift will know all the things it has to do or code it has to generate before your code gets compiled. Yeah, it's an actionable script. You can think of it that way. If you've ever written a PowerShell or a Bash script, it's a lot like that, but represented as a single kind of keyword like that with some notation. How do I know if something is a macro or not? Macros can be expanded in Xcode so you can see the code that will be generated before it is compiled. Control click. This is how you check if a keyword in Swift is a macro or just a property wrapper. Okay. Part 1 in the flow, data model. Oh shoot, I forgot I have to get... Yeah, how much longer is the... Oh, just... Okay, we can finish that. This one more. Part 1 in the flow, data model. So the first thing you need to create is a model so Swift data knows the structure of your data. Properties, types, etc. Model. So there's our person. Remember, these are just models. No data object values are here. Okay, the toolbox. Now that Swift data knows what the data will look like, it needs tools to read and store the values. The playground, the view. Okay, well, didn't tell me a lot there, brother. But that's okay. Yeah, this is exciting. I saw someone on YouTube, it was just a random comment. I think it was a video about memory management or something, just in the large, but he was like, oh, this really resonates with my nice, smooth brain, which I thought was a very strange way to describe yourself, but whatever. It just, more and more, like every day I come to the realization that I really am just becoming an old man, because some of the shit that I see that the kids say now, I'm just like, God damn, that's stupid. Like, that's all that I think. I don't think it's funny. I just like, man, that's stupid. I just think it's stupid. Like, why? But I know I was a little, I was a punk ass kid once too. So, yeah, what are you going to do? Natural way of things. All right, folks. So, again, sorry about the all over the placeness, but I think we found a really good way to learn Swift data here. That's my fault for not understanding. I thought core data actually at first, for some time, I thought core data was the thing that I was after, but really it's Swift data. So we will pick this up tomorrow. Please drop a follow on whatever platform you're on. Also, go follow me on X if you have it. I would much appreciate that. And check out my other stream, my Halo stream, if you're into that. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you. Thank you. Go eat some lunch.